In this video, we're going to be looking at tag or tags, another one of those words. I want to add a S to pluralize it or pluralize. I don't know. But we're going to be looking at the docs as we usually do to see how do we use these things. Is there any tidbits or gotchas that we should be aware of? And then we're going to round that off with, looks like about 2 to 3 examples here. So let's get to reading. It says the tag component is used for items that need to be labeled, categorized, or organized using keywords that describe them. Okay, that's cool. It says the tag is the wrapper for all tag elements. The tag label is the label for the tag's text content. That's a tongue twister. We have the left and right icon, so we're going to be dealing with icons to some degree. And then we have a close button. So that's pretty cool. Remember the previous close button we covered? That should be a pretty complex one to deal with here. So we have all these we're importing here. Let's see how we use one in the wild. We have a sample tag, which is just the tag component being used, and we're slapping some text in between the opening and closing tag here, or component. I use those interchangeably. And so you're starting to realize that in this data display section of Chakra, a lot of these things are similar, like the badge, code, KBD stuff, all looks very, very, very similar, right? So we could also adjust the sizes here. I don't know why they went off and made an example like this. This is something that you would see in like a material UI example. All they're doing is just rendering out tags from a list of small, medium, and large. But yeah, if you're to do size small, you would get this. Size medium is this. And then you have size large. This is how big the tag gets. I think it's kind of weird because in some other examples, they would just code out tag 3 times, and here they're putting it in a map. So yeah. So we have the icons here. So once again, we may have to deal with loops for the rest of this section here. So all we have to do if we want is inside of the tag itself, before the tag label, and I'm sure we could do it afterward if we want to, but for this, we have the tag left icon. So that's the keyword, tag left icon, and it closes itself here. So there's no, matching tag. So we have the tag left icon. We're giving it a box size of 12. And then we're adding the add icon from the Chakra UI library. Use whatever icons you'll want to use in place if you're not a fan of this kind of plus here. And then after that, we have as a sibling element here, the tag label component with the word cyan here. And the only thing that's different about these are the sizes. And so the tag right, as you notice, is after the tag label. Everything is identical as it was before, but the tag right icon goes on the, I guess you would say right, but it goes on the bottom as you're rendering this out. The left will go before the label, the right will go after the label. So keep that in mind. Unless there's been some kind of update where they don't really care anymore. This is one of those things where I swapped out the left for the right icon, and I was like, that is not working the way I thought it should. So keep that in mind as you're using this. And here we have the close button, and we have the tag label of green. Once again, we're rendering out all 3 sizes here. And we're, instead of the tag right icon, yeah, that was tag right icon, we're doing the tag close button. And as you can see, we could click on it. We could do it with a custom element too. So we have a tag, we have an avatar in here now, which is cool. So we don't have to do just like only tag, label, tag, right icon, close button stuff in here. As you can see, we could tag, and if we wanted to not just use an avatar, we could use an image, text, other stuff. Now we don't want to get too crazy with it because this is a very specific kind of case with tags they're wanting us to use them for, but you can slap an avatar in here, and even if you wanted to have an X here at the end or some other icon to give it some kind of on-click functionality, you could be free to do that as well, and it would make sense. So we have all the props down here below, just color scheme, size, and variant. So stuff like this, really everything. I like to code out some examples. So let's see this thing in action. So our first example here is going to create just a basic set of tags here. I'm going to put them in a VStack inside of the box. I just like this box. You're all going to have to get used to this box here. And then I'm going to make just some basic size adjustments. And then in the next section, we're going to add some icons and labels and some other fun other cute stuff. So let's do the first basic example and let's get to coding. So we have small tag, medium tag, and big tag, or big tag. That wasn't necessarily the emphasis on the vowels I wanted there. But let's come in here and change the size of these so that the text and the size kind of reflect one another. So we can see that when we get to the large, it is rather kind of imposing here. And maybe it's because we're using all caps as well. But even between the small and the medium, it's, I think, a negligible, if I can say that word properly, kind of size here. And so even on maybe some small screens, you may still want to use a medium tag. All really depends on your design layout, of course. But this is how you make tags. In the next section, what we're going to do is add some labels to them and some just general icons. So I'll see you all in a couple seconds. Alrighty, so now that we have this here, we're going to keep these the way they are. And what we're going to do is just add some labels, and then we're going to add some icons on the left and right hand side. So I'm going to, remove the small one here. And I'm going to make these two large and have the same text, just because I think it'll be easier to look at those side by side. So I've subbed to my channel twice. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate that because, well, put in a lot of work here. So let's make some, if I could speak here, some tag labels, and then we'll put the text inside of there. So now we have these tag labels here, but how do we add our icons in? Well, we could do that with tag right icon and tag left icon. So now we have this chevron coming here. It's pointing down. Looks like a drop down, right? Except, there's nothing you could do here to, click on it. It's just a symbol here. Although if we wanted to in our tag, we could do as and then assign it a button, make this clickable. So let's take this and do a copy and paste, but we're going to switch this to a tag right icon. And so I know I said this was tag right. Sometimes these things just skim on by me. But you notice we have a left and a right icon, but they're on the same side. And that's kind of strange, right? Also, the spacing is a little different if you notice. So that's because order matters on these things. Maybe in this future version it's not. But if you're going to do left, it has to go on the left first. It's not going to be able to differentiate or tell or look at the tag and then sort it out for you, at least with this version. So if something looks a little weird and your left is coming after your label, you just switch the places with it and it should work out just fine. So that is how we work with the labels, all the other stuff there. So in the next section, what we're going to do is work on, handling clicks. Alrighty, so welcome back to this last section here. And all we're going to do is add one more component in here, and that is a tag close button. And that is going to allow us to close, remove, jump out of whatever it is we need to do. I'm not going to make an elaborate example. I'm just going to do what I typically do and have an on click, and then we're going to alert when we, click said item. So we have these tag left, tag right. Now we have a tag close button right here. And what's interesting is you can't click this at all. Nothing's happening. But if we click this, it says don't touch me, right? Because we're throwing in an alert right here to the screen. And then nothing else really happens after that. And if we wanted to, just to show this off, we could append it to either side. Now it looks a little weird on the left-hand side here. So you may have to shuffle this around a little bit, but I think that's just to maybe they had in mind that it's only going to be to the right side, because typically that's how layouts are. You're not going to have an X that precedes the text. But just to show you that order matters, and you know, sometimes you could even look at the intentionality of a library by just shuffling stuff around like that. But that is the tag close button. This is how you use tags in a nutshell. If you like what I'm doing, like, share, subscribe. I love doing what I'm doing and sharing all this information with y'all, and check you in the next video.